Hey y'all, it is a wonderful, wonderful day. I hope that you all have enjoyed it. Y'all can hear I got my Pandora playing in the background. Listen to a little bit of Michael Jackson. I was going to give him a little dance off before I start cooking. Let y'all come on in the kitchen and join me. Give you a couple of minutes to get all your ingredients together before I welcome you to another episode of May Rose Cafe Live. I am your host, of course, Wonderlo. I have a online talk show every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock that is called The Ladies Lounge for Wonderlo, and this is sort of just like a little episode that I've added to that lineup. So glad that you all could tune in tonight. I hope that you've gotten all your food together, you got your stuff ready to go, because we're going to cook up a one skillet meal tonight that I believe will be a hit at your house. I think I told you in the description we're going to be doing smothered pork chops with a mushroom gravy with veggies. Now, you know I love to make a simple meal. I don't like to be in the kitchen for a long time, and I'm assuming that most of you probably don't either. So these meals are put together with that in mind. And I think I told you to make sure that you had, I'm using about 4 pork chops. They've been trimmed of extra fat, as you can see a little bit. I've already gotten all my oil in the skillet, and it's waiting on us to get ready. Oven is already preheated, because remember I told you I might surprise you and also throw a dessert in there. So of course I'm going to throw a dessert in there. I mean, what kind of meal would you have if you didn't have something sweet at the end of it? So I got my pork chops. Told you 2 cups of baby carrots. And I have to remember I have 2 cameras, so I have to make sure I'm looking at the one on the bottom too. Your cup of frozen peas thawed out, of course. And then I have a row of seasonings over here, which I won't tell y'all those, but one of them is your onion soup mix, black pepper, salt, a little bit of garlic powder, and minced garlic, because I like the taste of garlic in my food, a little bit of Italian seasoning, a little bit of lemon pepper seasoning salt, just to give it a little bit of kick, and then a little bit of parsley at the end. We have our faithful onion. And we have some beautiful, you know that's going to happen, right? We have some beautiful mushrooms that we're going to add to this, because after all, remember, it is mushroom gravy. And I have my celery here. So celery has already been washed. I just hadn't chopped it yet. So we're going to go ahead and do that, because I like to do all my vegetables and stuff before I start touching the meat, just to, keep down contamination and just kind of a little cleaner thing for me. I'm cutting the celery kind of at a bias or at an angle, because you also want your food to be pretty. Now I use the leaves at the end of the celery stalk also, and you can use those if you want to save them and use them as garnish, which sometimes I do that also. So I'll tell you what, that's what we're going to do with these. So we're going to put our little celery leaves we had left at the end of our celery. We're going to set those to the side. So now I'm just going to put that over in the bowl with the carrots, because they're going to go in the skillet at the same time. Now, we're going to go ahead and cut up our onion. So this week when I was coming up with what I wanted to cook, I was trying to make a decision on something that was really easy, something that's quick, of course, and something that you can do in our little hour time frame or less. Doesn't have to take an hour. I mean, if we go 45 minutes or however long we go, that's how long we go. For some reason, I always rinse my onions off in cold water. I think somebody told me one time before it might help you not cry so much. Always use a really sharp knife when you are cutting onions. It does cut down on the tears a little bit. And I'm just really going to cut these into wedges. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? I think you can see my. Wait a minute, y'all. I've been talking all this time and just realized my other camera is not even on. I just turned it on. I've been talking to the top one and it just went off. Sorry about that. Anyway, I was cutting the onions and all I did was just cut them in wedges. That's all. And then we're going to set those to the side. And now let's go ahead and cut and quarter our mushrooms. Now, how many of you all know that you do not wash mushrooms? Go ahead, I'll wait. Somebody answer. How many folks know you don't wash mushrooms? You don't wash them because they're very spongy, and if you wash them, they'll collect the water, and your mushrooms won't come out crisp in your dish the way you want them to look. Just take a brush, any loose dirt that's on them, just brush them off. I also use a paper towel to wipe off any excess dirt on them, but you don't wash them. If you wash them, you're gonna make them soggy and mushy. So just take your paper towel and clean them, and they're good to go. And these are pretty good size ones, as you can see. So we're gonna just do, I don't know, I like a lot of mushrooms, so I might do quite a few. I'll do at least 5 or 6 of them. Get those cleaned off. And this is just a little handy dandy, like basting brush or, brush you use to do barbecue sauce with or anything else. I use it for a little bit of everything. You get all the extra dirt off the mushroom. Sometimes you might have to wipe, so I do have a paper towel here too to get anything that's just not coming off readily. Let's move them. I want them right there instead of right here. Get a couple more big ones, and we're going to go ahead and quarter these and just set them to the side. So I was trying to think of, like I said earlier, think of easy things that we can cook that don't take a lot of time. So when we come on, we can actually get you in the kitchen, get you out of the kitchen. And, if you're a full-time employee or a business owner or whatever, and you have another full-time job, and then coming home trying to figure out, a decent meal to make in the evenings, it gets hard. I think I told y'all I've been cooking for a long time. And then when all the kids were home, it was 6 of us. So I did a lot of meal planning. And what I mean by that is on the weekend, Friday evenings, more or less, I would spend going through and figuring out what I wanted to cook for the week coming up. So then when I went grocery shopping, I had a full list. And how I did that was I'd come up with the dishes and come up with the menus, and I'd do it by weeks. And then from that, I would decide, what ingredients I need. So say, for instance, tonight we're doing the pork chops and with the mushroom gravy. I would write that on the menu for the week, but then I would write beside it, write all the ingredients that I needed. So that when I went grocery shopping, I wasn't running all over the store looking for stuff, and I didn't forget any ingredients. And it just made things a lot easier for me. And even now, when I'm just cooking for 2, I still do the exact same thing. I still plan out my meals at least a week or 2 ahead. I do all of my grocery shopping. Certain things that if I'm going to cook, I don't buy them. Like the mushrooms, I went and got those yesterday after work because I want them to still be fresh. And I know me well enough to know that I might put something in the refrigerator and it might get lost in the in the shuffle, and then that's wasted money. So there are certain things that I don't buy ahead of time only because I want to make sure that when I get ready to cook with them, that they're still fresh. Okay, as you can see, kind of cut up the mushrooms there. Let me hold up so you can see it on the other camera. Got the mushrooms all cut up, and we're just going to place those in the bowl and set them to the side. All right. Now, got that done. I have extra ones, so I'm just going to set them over there out of the way. Oh, I did not tell y'all about something last week. I want to show you something I got for my birthday. I hope you can see this. I don't know how well it's going to be on that. Now, I don't know if you can see that. It's a glass cutting board that my youngest son and his wife and family got me for, no, I'm sorry, not my birthday, Mother's Day last week. So, I don't know if you can see that. And you're probably going to have to read it backwards, but anyway, you can see. And note that I'm one of those folks that I don't use my good stuff, so it's sitting over here on the stand on the side. So let me get the extra mushrooms off my board. Okay, now. See, I almost broke it, y'all. I would start crying. Now we're going to get our pork chops, and I'm going to go ahead and salt them a little bit and put a little bit of black pepper on them before we put them in the skillet to saute them off or to fry them off a little bit. Now with anything, of course, you season both sides. I'm just spreading these out so I can kind of season equally. And then get both sides. Get a little salt on this side. Then we'll flip them over. I remember I told y'all, I try not to use a lot of salt. So you'll see me salting now. And you know I told you I'm going to put a little bit of lemon pepper seasoning salt in there. So that'll be the only salt. And you know that prepared soups like the cream of mushroom soup we're going to use later for the gravy. And the, I'm just going to stack these up. And the, what am I trying to say? Oh, the onion soup mix has a little bit of salt in it. So I didn't put a lot of salt on the pork chops. Rinse my hands real quick. And y'all know the rules. Anytime you deal with raw meat or you're cooking anything like that, you make sure that you wash your hands well after. Because you do not want to spread any germs to anything else. Okay. Oh, and while I'm back here, let me go ahead and turn that on a little bit. And I'm just turning it on medium heat. You don't want it, doesn't have to be screaming hot or anything like that. Just medium heat is fine. So I'm going to set these to the side until I know that's about warm enough. And I can clean up a little bit of the other stuff. So we'll move all this stuff out of my way. And you know I got my little tray over here to collect all of the junk. So you can let's put this back here. So we might need a little bit. And let's also get a spoon out so we can taste to make sure that it tastes the way we want it to taste along the way. All right. So what I'll do is, I don't need this again. I might. So what we'll do is just set it right there. You know what? I'm going to use it as a little tray. I can carry all the rest of my seasonings and stuff back there by the stove. Only thing I won't take back there now is the mushrooms and the peas are the last things to go in. So I'll leave those up front. And what we can do is I'll go ahead and mix in the onion soup mix. And what I've gotten in is just 1 can of condensed mushroom soup already in the bowl. And this is the onion soup mix. I'm just going to mix that in and kind of whisk that in. And then we'll add the liquid in a little bit. So it's always something you can be doing to get to your next step or waiting on the next step or doing something else until something else does what it's supposed to do. Okay. So we can set that to the side. Okay. Our pan is hot enough. So we're going to go ahead and add the pork chops in. And all I've done is I just put a little bit of olive oil in the pan. Hear that little sizzle. Hopefully these are not so big. I think all of it is in there. There we go. Well, you don't want to come off the plate. But I think I can turn it up just a little bit more. You don't want to be in here all night cooking. Well, get in there. They don't want to lay down right. Okay. So we will let them cook for a few minutes. Now, remember, I did tell you we're gonna sneak a dessert in. So we're gonna make a really quick tea cake. Y'all know I like tea cakes. My grandkids like tea cakes. So in the bowl right now, what I have is about 2 cups of sugar. And that I'm gonna go ahead and add. I have almond and vanilla flavoring. We're just gonna add a little bit of that in. Well, I'm actually gonna add all of that in. I measured it earlier. We can add in. Y'all can hear the Lord, these pork chops back here keeping us all kind of ready. We can add in our melted butter, and that's just one. Well, it was melted. That 1 stick of melted butter. Okay. And to that, we're going to add in 2 whole eggs. There you go. And go ahead and start whisking that together. In this recipe, you're going to do all of your wet ingredients in one bowl, and then you're going to pour all of it into your other bowl together, into your dry ingredients. And the dry ingredients are, I got to talk louder because the pork chop's making up a whole lot of noise back there. In the dry bowl, we have 4 cups of flour that's been sifted together with 2 tablespoons of baking powder and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. So to this little mixture, we're going to go ahead and add a 1/2 cup of milk. That's about half. There we go. And keep whisking that all together. And let me catch these pork chops because they're back here doing some popping and sizzling now, and I don't want them to burn. Okay, hold on just a second. We'll turn that down a little bit. Okay. I'm going to go ahead. Turn on that thing. Yeah. Go ahead and turn those over. And what you're looking for is for them to brown. So they're going to finish cooking after we add everything else to the skillet. So now we're going to let them brown a little bit on the other side. And they are fine. And I have to talk louder so y'all can hear me. So we whisked all of our wet ingredients and our sugar and everything together. And this is going to make a really wet dough, so don't panic if it looks like it's a little too wet for you, because it's a reason. It's not going to hurt anything, because you can also use the same dough if you wanted to roll out on your counter with a little bit of flour and make it a little bit stiffer if you wanted to. But because of how I'm doing it tonight, I'm not going to do that. So now we're just going to pour all our wet ingredients into our dry. Ooh. Roll over there. Y'all, I got smart tonight. I turned the air on. The other night I told you I was in here sweating. It was hot and I couldn't handle it. So tonight I got smart. I turned the air on and got it cooled down before I started cooking. Okay. I had it. Oh, there it is. The only thing we're doing is just blending together everything until everything is covered. Everything is blended together. Let's not use that anymore. It kind of defeats the purpose. We can use our little spoon here and mix it together, and it works just as well. And like I said, it's going to be a wet looking dough, but that's fine. I've already preheated my oven to 400, and we're going to put this in the oven. But tonight, instead of making individual tea cakes, I'm making one giant one. Today is my husband's birthday, so along with his pork chop dinner, he'll get a huge tea cake with some extra stuff on top of it, with some almonds and some cookies and cream ice cream and some chocolate fudge. Yeah, he gonna get a sugar rush. Yeah. It might not be right of me to do that to him, but he gonna get it. Okay, now as you can see, everything's blended together. And you notice, like I said, it's a wet dough. But if you want to turn this out and roll these and make tea cakes, you could. But like I said, tonight we're not going to do it that way. We're going to make one giant one. And this is enough dough to make probably 2 of these big ones. So what I did was I took my cast iron skillet and I lined it with foil because I want to be able to just lift it out at the end and plate it. So I'm going to take some of the dough and just pour it in. Ooh, the pork chop smell good, y'all. Actually, I'll use almost half of this. A little bit over half, which is fine. I'll make some tea cakes out of the rest of it. Some small ones. And all I'm doing is just moving it around and spread it out in the pan. Now this has to cook. Since I'm making a bigger one, I'm going to give it at least about, we'll say about 9 to 10 minutes. So it's in the skillet. We're going to go ahead and stick this in the oven. All right, y'all. Pork chops are brown and all good. I'm going to flip them over one more time, let them get a little bit more crust on them. Turn that off. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Now, you can hear me a little bit better. All right. I'll let them go just a little bit longer. And let me just clean up my spot a little bit. I know I told y'all I'm sort of a clean freak when I'm cooking. The cleaner I can keep my area, the better I feel. So, all right. Now, since we got that going, let's go ahead now. I want to go ahead and add in the carrots because those are the next thing that's going to take the longest to cook. Matter of fact, I'm going to put the carrots, the celery, and the onions in. So I'm just going to put all of this on one bowl. No sense in running back and forth. Save my little celery leaves over there. All right, all that's going in one bowl. And then we're going to go ahead and put this in. I'm going to take out the pork chops for just a second, just so I can brown or cook start with the vegetables a little bit. So we'll take them out and just set them to the side. And don't worry about them not being tender now. They shouldn't be. They're just kind of partially cooked. And that's what you want. So we'll set those to the side. We're going to go ahead and pour in the onions and the celery and the carrots. And all we're going to do is just let them kind of sit around in there. And they can get a little bit of the juice that was on the meat. And they get some of that seasoning. I'm going to let them cook for just a few minutes before we put back in the pork chops. There we go. Sometimes I do this and I think I got this thing all timed out, and I notice I got a couple of extra minutes to do something else. I don't know what else to do. So we'll just sit here and talk for a minute. So somebody comment or post and let me know what you've been cooking lately. You know, what kind of meals do you like? What is your go-to meal? What's the thing that if there's nothing else that you can get to and nothing else that you can cook, what's the thing that you love to cook? So if y'all post that and let me know, I'd appreciate it. Give me some feedback so I don't feel like I'm just talking to myself. Okay. I love the way onions smell when they're cooking, and it makes, I don't care what you're cooking, sauteed onions makes it smell better and tricks you into thinking it might taste better, but it smells really good in here, so I'm going to go along with it. Let's see. While that's happening, why don't we go ahead, I can go ahead and add in my minced garlic. Matter of fact, I'm just going to take all my spices back there, and we'll go ahead and start adding those things in. So I'm going to go ahead and do my minced garlic. Extra powder garlic. You know, I told you I love the taste of garlic in my food. I'm not going to put all of it in there. I'm just going to put a little bit. And if I need some at the end, I can put more. A little bit of seasoning salt. Y'all have no idea what the seasonings or how good the seasonings just make everything smell all of a sudden. And I'm going to put in my dry Italian seasoning. I'm going to give this a couple of stirs just to get everything coated in there really good. Hold on to that. Last thing I need is this skillet to go flying across the floor. Now, if you remember when I posted on the for you to get the recipe, I said that you can use the cup of milk or the half a cup of milk, and it was optional. And I said that because sometimes your pork chops render enough liquid that you don't need the additional liquid. And if you want your gravy to be a little bit creamier, then you can always add the milk to it. So I'll put the pork chops back in. So we're just putting them right on top of the vegetables. I'm going to have a lot of time because this is going to need some time to cook and kind of simmer down a little bit. And that's what we want to happen. And to this, you can use water if you need to just create a little bit of more liquid in the pan, which we kind of do. I'm gonna go ahead and take that little bit of half a cup of milk I had left, and we're gonna add it to our cream mushroom soup because we're gonna need it. That's not a lot of liquid coming off those pork chops in there. For one thing, they're not real fat. I trimmed a lot of it off, so you don't have a lot of juice coming out of them. There is some, but just not a whole lot. And then we'll stir that around. Now remember, we're going to put the peas and the mushrooms in last because we don't want I want the mushrooms to kind of stay whole as possible. And I'm going to go ahead and add another half a cup of water to this. Because I want it to simmer down in a little bit. Okay. And a lot of that will cook out and it'll concentrate your gravy. Now, I know y'all were expecting me to make the flour and the oil and that kind of gravy. I do sometimes, and that was the gravy that I was raised on. But in an effort to try to cook sometimes a little bit healthier and not use as much oil or use as much fat, I use a soup to make a gravy rather than making it from scratch and using a whole lot of oil. So we'll just sit this back here. And it sounds like everything is going good in that skillet, so we're going to cover that. And we're going to probably let that cook for, let's see, we'll give that about the time that the tea cakes will come out the oven should be about the time that's ready. So there's probably another 10 to 15 minutes. Or about 10 minutes, because the tea cake's been in there already for a little bit. We can go ahead and clean up my space a little bit. Put my dishes in my sink. Tea cake is looking pretty. Okay. So, how was y'all's day? What y'all have going on? So, moving up. Actually, I told y'all sometimes it's time thing. I'm trying to estimate how long it takes to make something. It doesn't quite work out the way I expected for it to work out. But that's fine. We got time. We got time. So, I'm going to let that cook a little bit. That's sizzling. Oh, my God. So, what's going to happen is those vegetables are going to cook. They're going to get soft. And the meat is going to tenderize and cook. And when we pour the gravy in and let it cook for a couple more minutes, everything's going to cook down. You're going to get this nice gravy. I love it chunky. I don't like it when you make a gravy. And it's probably weird to me. I like things to stay kind of whole and chunky. So I like the celery bigger. I like the carrots big. I like everything big. I even want the chunks of mushroom to show up. So I won't let it cook to a point where everything kind of disintegrates. So it'll cook and it'll cook out good. And while it's doing that, I'm just gonna rest and talk to y'all. Hey, Cousin Hazel, how you doing today? You asked about butter roll. Let me tell you the story about butter roll. I had a great aunt named Vertus, and anybody from Google, Arkansas knows who Vertus is. Vertus made the absolute best butter roll to ever be ever in existence on earth. I mean, when I say it was good, y'all, it was good. It was that melt in your mouth, flaky, buttery, sugary. It was everything that you really should never, ever eat, but you could not stop eating it. And one of the things I used to do when I would come home to visit is I would call her ahead of time and ask her to make me a butter roll. Now, the funny thing was she'd protect that butter roll. She wouldn't let anybody else get any of it. So when I got there, I had a whole butter roll to myself. Now, sometimes I was nice enough to share because it was good and I couldn't eat the whole thing. But the majority of the time, I tried to kill that thing all by myself, which was probably, in hindsight, not a good idea. But anyway, I don't know anybody who's been able to duplicate it, really, honestly. It's sort of like my grandma's biscuits I told y'all about last week, the buttermilk biscuits. It took me 30 whatever years to finally tinker with a recipe to where I even got them close to what hers were like. And I still don't think mine are anywhere near as good as hers used to be. Now, I've made a butter roll before and it was okay. So I'm going to try it again, cousin, and see if it turns out right. And if it does and I feel like it's presentable, then I'll call you and come over eat butter roll with me. But, man, she made the best butter roll. So if you knew Vertus, then you knew Verna. That was my grandma in Google. And my grandma was jealous of Vertus' butter roll. So she would try to make one too. Problem with Verna's butter roll was it's always a little bit dry. But what Verna could make, now that joker could make an apple pie. Oh my God. When I say good, and I can remember growing up, I did not like apple pie. And the first one I ever had that tasted anywhere near good was one that my grandma made. That thing was delicious. The pie crust would be flaky and buttery. The apples were always nice and sweet and soft. And I don't know, she had a secret something she put in it that she never would tell me what it was, but man, she made the best apple pie. So there are a couple of dishes I think in my family that people made that I still hadn't, to me, I hadn't come close to just yet. And I'm not a big time pie person or pie maker, I should say. But oh my God. And I miss them, not just for the pie and the butter roll, but I just miss them because those were some tough old women. And anybody that knows them knows they were some tough old women. But those little sisters could cook their butts off. And I think that's how all of us ended up being able to do it. Have cousins in Kansas City, all of them. I say we all, when I tell you that we all think we chefs in the kitchen, we chefs in the kitchen. We ain't no joke. We ain't playing about no food. All of us know how to cook, and all of us are good at it. We have several people in the family that can bake their butts off. I have a cousin down in Florida who makes the most beautiful pastries and chocolate covered anything. And she makes a lot of different treats for the holidays. The one in Kansas City I was talking about, oh yeah, that's cooking just right, y'all. The one in Kansas City makes beautiful cakes and anything else. The other one cooks, I think we cook probably all in about the same style of food. We love to cook real food. You know, when our grandkids come to our house, they don't ask for junk food and fast food. They ask for real food. You know, I posted pictures of some of the stuff that I'm gonna ask Hazel. I have to ask Roseanne if she can post pictures of some of the stuff I have to make for my grandkids because I told y'all from the time I have a 9-year-old, the oldest one is 9. From the time this child was about 4 years old to now, when he comes in my house and he comes straight to my kitchen, this child does not ask for junk. Fefe, what did you cook today? And he'll ask for stuff like, I want fried chicken and macaroni and cheese and greens and candy yams and cornbread. And I'm like, what 5-year-old has that as a menu request? So when they come and stay with me on the weekends, we spend a lot of time cooking. And he's also, other than myself and my sister and a couple of cousins growing up, the only kid that I know eats greens. And not only does he eat greens, he requests them that you cook them all the time. And he tears them up. So, you know, we don't have a choice but to know how to cook stuff because, hey, I'm in a household and a family full of people who like to eat good food and they want good food now. And if we can get it in an hour, then that's even better. So I'm going to go ahead and, in the essence of time, let's see. I think everybody's in it. Oh, yeah, everybody's cooking just fine. Want the pork chop, make sure the pork chops are done. Flip that little buddy over right there. All right. All right. All of y'all stay in there. Everybody want to move around. Okay. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is pour the gravy over it now. And all this is going to do is just, it's already liquid in the pan. So some of that is going to cook off, which is fine. If you want the gravy a little bit thicker, you can use 2 cans of soup instead of 1. I try not to have like a lot of leftover. So I try not to use just a whole bunch of stuff. So I want to use 1 can, which is for two people, that's good enough. And then we're just going to cover, turn that back up just a tad bit and let it come to a simmer. And we're going to let that simmer, we'll give it about 15 minutes or so. So I told y'all know I forget stuff, so let me set this timer. Uh-oh. Oh, if I use the right one, it'll work, I promise. I do it every single doggone time. I turn on the other thing, which is the one that tells you. There you go. All right. Woo-hoo. This tea cake thing is pretty, y'all. Hold on just a second. You can come out of the oven, which is perfect because this will give it time to cool before it's time to serve it. And clean off my pudding board. Grab a mitten. I don't want to grab a towel. I burned myself enough. Okay, let's see. Okay, that can go a little bit longer, so it's done on the outside but not on the inside. So we'll let that sit in just a little bit longer. It was looking so pretty, I thought it was ready to come out of there. So anyway, where was I? Trying to figure out stuff to come up with and to make sure that it's something that's easy to cook. Ingredients are not really expensive, because one of the things I found that when you do go online and you start searching for simple recipes to make in an hour, they're using expensive ingredients, things that may be a little bit difficult to get hold to. I try to make sure that whatever I'm telling you to cook, or I'm showing you how to cook, I'm not telling you to cook anything, but showing you how to cook is stuff that you would readily have in your cabinet, in your pantry. So you don't have to go out and find a whole lot of expensive things, because it kind of defeats the purpose if you got to cook something that's really expensive. You know, everybody's on a budget nowadays, and we want to make sure that whatever we're cooking is very simple, and it's something that we can put together that our family's going to enjoy, that we're going to enjoy, and it doesn't cost us a whole lot of money. So I try to find things that are going to be easy to make, easier for you to cook, put it in a skillet, let it go, and just think. Right now, just say, for instance, you had some other stuff to do. You could go and throw a load of clothes in the laundry. You can be helping kids with homework. You could be doing your homework. You could be answering phone calls. You could be catching up on your email, and go back to the stove, and in a couple of minutes, you have a full dinner in the pan. So nothing can beat that. Now, I'll also tell you this. You do not have to do this with pork chops. This works as well, if not better, if you use chicken. So say, for instance, you're not a pork eater and you want to try it and you want to do the same recipe, substitute the pork chops for chicken. And this would be a good meal to do chicken thighs with, because they're nice and thick. It's a good amount of meat, and you're eating, remember, everything is in one dish. So this is giving you a sufficient amount of meat to eat. So if you want to do this with chicken thighs, do the same thing. Wash, trim, extra fat off of them, saute them on both sides, add the same ingredients, and cook it the exact same way. Only thing I would say change in the recipe is if you're doing it with chicken, change the cream of mushroom soup to cream of chicken soup. Makes sense, right? Chicken gravy. But you can still put the mushrooms in it. And then you can change, if you don't want to use the mushrooms, if you're not a mushroom eater, just leave those out. But believe me, it's as good either way. This is also something you can put in the crock pot. So say, for instance, you have a long day. You're going to need something hot and ready when you walk in the house. Put that chicken in the crock pot and put it on the bottom. Put the vegetables on top. The peas can go in, and the mushrooms can actually be stirred in at the very end when you get home. Just stir them in and cover it back up in the crock pot and let it sit for a couple of minutes. Guess what? It's ready to go. So there's a couple of different ways you can do this recipe. It's very simple. It's nothing complicated about it, nothing hidden in it, none at all. Anybody can make it and enjoy it. Thank you, cousin. This is my natural stuff. That's what I tell folks. It is my hair, though. I appreciate you saying that. I was in the store one day, and I don't know if you can tell right here, it's kind of a little more red than it is on the other spots. And this young lady walked past me. She said, "Oh my God, I've been trying to cut my hair that color for I don't know how long, and I can never get it that color." And I just laughed at her, told her, I said, "Sweetie, don't worry about it. It took me 53 years to get this color." What I mean by that is, and I'll tell y'all my secret, I have a huge gray streak of hair that starts here and goes to about here. Everything right here is gray. So when I put the color in it, it turns it this really pretty, kind of bright red. And it throws people off because they're going, "I can never find that hair color." Well, you have to have gray hair and be 53 years old to get this hair color. Everybody can't get this. This is special. So, woo, y'all, it's back there bubbling and cooking. Oh, I wish y'all could see that. Now, if I want that to get a little bit thicker, I can take the lid off, but I want the pork chops to tenderize some, so I'm going to leave it covered up. All right. This tea cake is cooking right along. All I can smell in here now is mushroom gravy, pork chops, and vegetables, and it smells delightful. So I'm going to enjoy this meal tonight. Now, you can also serve this with your buttermilk biscuits. So if you made the biscuits last week, I hope you ate all of them then. Y'all, why am I foolish but sitting here and eat 3 biscuits? Remember I told y'all I had issues with sugar. I hate to say that D word, but you know what it is. I ate 3 biscuits. Then I had to run around the apartment for about 30 minutes to run off some of this sugar and drink a whole bunch of water. Don't do that, y'all. Don't do what Wonder do. Don't be like Wonder. Don't eat stuff you ain't supposed to eat. And if you do, know how to handle it. But I ate the biscuits. The biscuits were really good. My husband ate the biscuits. The kids ate some of the biscuits. So there are no more biscuits. So one of the things you can have with this, again, we're trying to incorporate more vegetables into our meals. If you wanted to add a salad, you could. You could add a side salad. Or if there are other vegetables you want to add to it, you could. Or if you wanted to make it even more of a meal, you could serve it with rice. Since I think that meat and vegetables is enough, I'm not serving my rice tonight. Or you could actually take the small potatoes, the new potatoes, and quarter those and add it in at the same time. And that way you actually have your pork chops, your vegetables, and your potatoes and gravy all in one meal. So versatile, easy to make, put your own spin on it. If you want to use, instead of the green peas, you want to use another vegetable, you could. I would throw broccoli in there. You could put green beans in it, either one of them. I just always try to put a green vegetable in it to make sure that you get that in. But anything that you want to pretty much kind of put in there, you really could. I thought about doing it. If you do chicken, I would add broccoli. So you'd have a green vegetable. Carrots are always good. I don't know how you all feel about sweet potatoes and savory dishes, but you could quarter or dice sweet potatoes in kind of large and wedges and add sweet potatoes instead of carrots if you're not a carrot person. So a lot of different ways to make this one meal and it still be really good. All right, TK. Let's see what's going on. Might have underestimated this situation a little bit. Oh, no, it's working. All right, there we go. All right. So we got us a nice big old giant tea cake. And that is hot. Looks like cornbread almost, doesn't it? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and stir ooh, y'all. Pork chops back there doing the dance in the skillet. I'm going to leave the lid off a little bit because I needed some of the water to cook out and evaporate. And we can go ahead and work the pork chops down in the gravy a little bit. We'll flip him over since he bubbled up on me. Let's kind of work it down in the gravy so it gets covered. All right. All right. Now, I'm going to add a little bit of parsley to it because I told you, I like colors and I like for my food to be pretty. So you can add a little bit of parsley to it and let that cook down a little bit. Let me see what we're doing on time. And all right, we're about 45 minutes in, so we're good. Now look, this is the first. Woo! It worked. It worked. I was worried about that. That worked. I am so proud. Wasn't sure if that was gonna come out right, but that worked perfectly. Let's move this out of the way. And I forgot to get a plate for the tea cake. So we'll grab a plate. And we're going to do that on the, put it on the round. All right. Here we go. So that worked. Yay. So we have oh my God, this thing smells so good. Okay, let's see if I can move it to the plate without breaking it now. It's hot. It is very hot. Woo. Y'all, okay, I'm gonna have to go jogging tonight because I'm gonna eat some of this tea cake. I know I probably shouldn't, but I don't think I'm gonna eat a little piece because it smells really, really good. And I think after we put that scoop of ice cream and the almonds and the chocolate fudge on it, it's gonna probably be a whole lot better. So yeah, I'm gonna go on and get like a little piece of it. So I ain't gonna go crazy. Woo. I ain't gonna go crazy, but I'm eating some of this tea cake. So here's what we're going to do. Because I want you all to see. We're going to serve a piece of it. I'm going to go ahead and make that. Wash my knife off. That's been the longest time. Cut through it a little bit better. And let me get a little salsa for that. Y'all, I forgot all my little serving pieces tonight. I normally set everything out. I forgot all about that. Okay. Y'all, hold on. I have to let y'all see these pork chops. Y'all got to see this. This is, it's probably steamed up the camera just a little bit. I don't know if on the bottom camera you can see that. Can you see that? But y'all, that is 1 skillet pork chops and mushroom gravy. Now guess what we're finna do? Add the peas and the mushrooms. Put that back. Get our mushrooms, get our peas. And we're gonna sprinkle those in. All our peas in there. We're going to go ahead and put our mushrooms in. We'll get a little bit of a stir. Woo, y'all. I'm about to tear this up. This is going to taste too good. Got the chunky pieces of celery, the chunky pieces of onion. Got the mushrooms. Oh my God, yeah. That's one of my favorite chefs. Oh yeah, baby. I don't know if y'all know who that is. Anybody watch Create? I love that channel. Oh my God, they have like the best cooking shows. So we're gonna let that sit for a minute. Just to let the peas get hot all the way through. Let that. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna turn it down because I don't want to burn it. And I'm gonna turn the oven off so it doesn't get too much hotter in the kitchen. So now we're gonna cut a piece of this really pretty little, oh my God, of this tea cake. And now this is actually a true tea cake. This is actually a cake. And we're gonna put a little bit of that on the, let's see, make sure we get, my tip to come off. Ooh, look at that. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Tea cake. Now to that, y'all know I keep some ice cream. Keep some ice cream. Shouldn't probably keep ice cream, but I keep some ice cream. And I still haven't found my ice cream scoop, y'all. You know I told y'all I lost it. I have no clue where I put it. So, and then a cookie dough scoop. Guess what? It's going to do the same thing. If I can get this hardtail ice cream out this container. And I'm not going to put a whole scoop on it because I'm trying to be halfway decent and good. There we go. I got to quit making that sound. Okay. Got that on there. Now, chocolate fudge. Another thing I don't need. And hopefully I can get the lid off of it. Y'all know I can't never get the lid off stuff. I ain't put this one on at all. Oh, I got it. Got it. You want to take a little spoon. Oh, this is a little solid. Stir it just a little bit. That's cool. Oh, well. We're going to just put a dollop of it on there and let it melt its own way down. All right. I'm going to eat that. No, I'm not. I got to be halfway good, y'all. Just put that there. Now, got a little bit of crushed almonds. Remember, we put almond flavoring inside of the tea cake. So we're just going to put a little almonds on top of it. Tea cake. That took what? About 30 minutes. So you got a dessert, right? And look at the fudge just running down the side. It's filthy. So you got your dessert. I'm going to eat some, trust me. I'm putting it to the side now, but I am going to eat some. Our pork chops and vegetables are ready. That's the timer going off back there. Turn that off. And All right, y'all. All right, y'all. Can you see that? One skillet. Smothered pork chops, mushrooms, mushroom gravy, and veggies. All right. Now, remember I told you if you want to make this a meal, and you want to add rice to it, or if you want to make it a little bit more substantial, you can put your potatoes in there. So here I'm going to make me a plate because I am very hungry. It's been a long day. And I told y'all I did homeschool with the grands this morning. And I always try to find the smallest pork chop, which is very hard because none of these are just technically really small. So give me a pork chop. Get me, look at that. Can you see? Can you see? Can you see? Pour a little bit of it over the top. Y'all know I like pretty plates. So if you just want to be fancy, you don't have to be. But this is just me. Put a little parsley on your plate. Put that in your mouth. You got some smothered pork chops, mushroom gravy, and veggies. One skillet meal, 52 minutes. I'm finna have some fun. Thank you, cousin. I hope it tastes as good as it looks. I think it will be just fine. So let me get my little taste. And cut a little bit of the pork chop. Do I want that side? No, I want that side right here. All right. And what do we try to do? Get that one bite. I know I'm not going to get a pea, but I want the mushroom. Ooh, that's hot. Oh, shoot, that gravy good. Now, I'll tell y'all something. I eat hot sauce on everything. So when y'all leave, I'm going to put some hot sauce on this. But that's good. Let's get a bite of our dessert. We got almond tea cake, a little bit of hot fudge. Well, fudge. And a little bit of cookies and cream ice cream. Wait a minute. So I pork chop. Oh my God. Y'all, that's good. That is good. All right. Well, oh Lord. Yeah, I'm about to run around the parking lot like this. But that is good. So y'all, I'm about to enjoy my pork chop. I'm about to enjoy my tea cake. I hope that y'all make this. When you do, post your pictures and let me know. It's been a pleasure tonight. I've enjoyed visiting with y'all, enjoyed cooking for you. I hope that this is something that you'll try in your own home, in your own kitchen with your family. Let me know what they think. I'll come back again next week and I'll have something else for you. Remember, you can substitute the pork chop with chicken, or you can substitute the vegetables with something else that you like. But I love it and it is really good and I'm getting ready to enjoy it. So y'all have a good rest of the night. Thank you for tuning in to May Rose Cafe Live. I'm Wonder Low. I will see you again on Tuesday night for the Ladies Lounge with Wonder Low, where I have more exciting guests and great episodes. So thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. Good night. Bye-bye. All right, y'all last. Bye.